And if you would, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the nation and to the state for which it stands, two beautiful peninsulas united by a bridge of steel, where equal opportunity and justice to all is our ideal. Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shippers.
Here.
Bowman.
Here.
Wolfile.
Here.
Keith.
Here.
Mayor Folkins.
Here. At this time, we have the approval of agenda, but I understand that we need to amend this evening's agenda.
Yes, Mayor and members of the City Council, if you would please consider amending the agenda to add under the listing of closed session items, the case of Ferris v. Cadillac et al., case number 1:15-CB-00680-RJJ, please.
What he said.
That's Ferris v. City of Cadillac et al.
Yes.
And it's actually on your blue line. You're going to make that motion.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Support?
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Spolman.
Yes.
Wolfile.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes?
Mayor Folkins.
Yes. Motion carries. At this time, we'll open the floor for public comments. We do ask that if you would like to come forward, that you limit your time to 3 minutes and tell us your name. And if you would write your name and address, we would certainly appreciate that also. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment and move on to the consent agenda. This evening, we do have the minutes from the regular meeting that was held on January 4th, and we also have the meeting minutes to the closed session. And the closed session minutes are in your envelopes. Oh, you saw it?
All right, very good. Good.
You wouldn't have seen, Bill, this is for the closed session. It's
Right,
in
I
your envelope.
already looked at that.
Oh, you
I got
did?
it.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Just read
ma'am.
all this. Good, thank you.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support?
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Wolfile.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you got to me.
Shippers.
Yes?
Bowman.
Yes.
Mayor
The
Folkins.
manager was talking.
Yes, motion carries. And this evening, we have several appointments. Sandy?
Yes, first, it is being recommended to approve the reappointment of Louis Nichols to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term to expire on January 1st, 2019.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Louis Nichols.
Support?
Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Keith.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes?
Bowman.
Yes.
Wolfile.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes. Motion carries.
Being recommended to approve the reappointment of Sherry Alt to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term to expire on January 19th, 2019.
I'll make that motion to appoint Sherry Alt to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term to expire on January 19th, 2019.
Support?
Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shippers.
Yes?
Bowman.
Yes.
Wolfile.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries.
I'd like to note that Louis
Nichols has served on the Zoning Board of Appeals for 24 years.
Wow.
And Sherry Alt has served for 12 years.
It's great.
Wow.
You know, that experience with all those years is
Priceless.
quite an asset, yeah. And
Real
we
asset.
really appreciate the service of those two.
Absolutely.
Next, it is being recommended to approve the reappointment of Gwen Dubrovic to the Courthouse Hill Historic District Commission for a 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2018.
I'll make the motion to approve the reappointment of Gwen Dubrovic to the Courthouse Hill Historic District Commission for a 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2018.
Support.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Spelman.
Yes.
Wolfile.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes. Motion carries.
Next, it's being recommended to approve the reappointment of Mark Schneider to the Courthouse Hill Historic District Commission for a 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2018.
All right. I'll make the motion to reappoint Mark Snyder to the Courthouse Hill Historic District Commission for a 3-year term which will expire December 31st, 2018.
Support.
Another commendable 10 years of service on that commission for Mark Snyder. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Wolfile.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Spelman.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes. Motion carries.
Last appointment this evening is being recommended to approve the appointment of Art Stevens to the Board of Review as a 3rd Ward representative for a 2-year term to expire on January 19th, 2018.
I'll make the motion to appoint Art Stevens to the Board of Review as a 3rd Ward representative for a 2-year term to expire on January 19th, 2018.
And I'll support that.
And I just want to say how grateful I am that Arthur Dale Stevens has agreed to continue his commitment to the Board of Review. As a council member, he was appointed to that for quite a few sessions.
15 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, so it's great to have that history and all of that experience, so we really
Valuable.
appreciate that.
Valuable.
Yes. Okay, Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Keith.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Spelman.
Yes.
Wolfile.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay. That's all of the appointments for this evening, and that'll move us to communications.
Yes, it's being requested to display a banner from January 25th to February 8th, 2016, the closure of Linden Street between Haynes and Chestnut from 9:45 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. on February 6th, and the closure of the requested city parking lots from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on February 5th and 6th, 2016 for the North American Snow Festival.
Is this the same request as last year?
Not exactly.
No, not exactly. It's changed slightly.
Okay.
The parking lots are listed on the
Yeah.
forms.
Yeah, I'd like to have some discussion about that.
Okay.
I had a feeling that was going to happen.
My question is, what parking lot is available for the public to use on this Saturday to access the lake? If the boat launch parking lot and the Chestnut number 2 parking lot and the Kenwood Park parking lot are being closed off for the use of the snow festival, I'm wondering what parking lot is available for the general public to access the lake, for people to fish and to ice skate and to view the activities on the lake, or just to walk? Can anyone answer that?
I believe the parking lot south of the pavilion is still open, but there is no launch at that location. Part of the issue and the reason for the change this year is because of the thickness of the ice, being that we've had somewhat of a mild winter. I know that this week is it's goofy for me to say that since we've had some Arctic temperatures, but determination was made for safety reasons that the parking of all of the vehicles on the lake, as it's been in years past, just isn't going to be safe. And so the fact that they're going to have the rigs attached to the vehicles, the trailers, and the, you know, whether they're open trailers or closed trailers, just all the equipment that's going to come along with it, instead of clogging up the lots closer down to the center of downtown. The thought was to try to keep that as close to where the action's going to be as possible, versus trying to have all the heavy equipment parked where the merchants and the downtown shoppers. And
Wouldn't it be easier for them to park over, say, at the school parking lot and then ride their machines over to the lake rather than general public parking at the school and having to walk all the way?
I'm not certain if that was part of the conversation with respect to the school lot. I don't know, Sandy, if you know if that came up when it was discussed or not.
Well, no, originally they were asking that Chestnut be closed completely down. And after talking to Todd and Jeff Rourke, it was determined that we just can't do that. Fire or necessities or whatever. And so working through this with Joy, that's what the alternative was, is to close the lots and leave the street open.
Yeah, for me, the bigger concern is Kenwood. The whole Kenwood Park being closed that day, because that's an area where a lot of, I know it's my neighborhood, and maybe I'm a little particular, but there's a lot of people that fish off of Kenwood. They park there and they fish.
And there aren't other alternative parking like a school or something.
Yeah,
There's
right, that's
nothing
quite a ways
nearby.
down, that's another mile.
Well, we're not, unless I'm mistaken, we're not closing access down to the lake itself. People could still use the boat launch areas to access the lake. Is that correct? It's just the parking that's being limited.
It says in here, Kenwood parking lot, we request the as-needed use of this parking lot for Saturday.
Right.
Okay.
So
We
it'll still be
request 2
open.
road barricades be dropped off at the entrances. So, as needed means if they decide they want to use those barricades,
Overflow.
they can.
Can't they do the overflow at the
Across
school?
the street?
Instead of Kenwood?
Across the street at the school, you mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Or across the street at
Kenwood
Kenwood.
is what I was talking about, the big parking lot.
Or do
across
they
the
want
street.
both of those? They want the lakeside parking lot
I
or?
believe it's just the lakeside because of the boat launch area. We can certainly ask, or not ask, but we can tell the Visitors Bureau that they'll have the Kenwood lot, but it'll be the one
On the other side of
across
the
way.
street?
Yeah,
It just seems like they're taking up all of the prime real estate that we would want the customers or all the people coming to see the event to be able to be in.
Most of the event activities that folks will be wanting to park next to or be by is going to be on the other side. It's going to be where the McKillop Walkway is. That's where the polar dip is and where the races are. So you're not going to necessarily have folks parking over by Kenwood and then participating in watching the event, at least
See,
my general understanding. I think they're looking at Kenwood as just optional, as needed, as Councilmember Spelman said, space based upon the number of folks that are going to be participating in the event if they should run out of space. And again, the reason why we're in this sort of issue is because of the thickness of the ice being a concern. Frankly, the thickness of the ice may not be of any concern by the time this event happens, given weather conditions, or it still may be. I just don't know.
Do we have any
But we can
idea?
tell them to park across the street if they need to use the Kenwood area, that they'll have to park their rigs across the street. Go ahead.
Do we have any idea at this point how much ice is actually out there? It hasn't been cold very long.
No, I heard, I want to say possibly through the Cadillac News, that it was reported that there was maybe 3 to 5 inches of ice. I mean, it's a guess. I couldn't tell you officially.
Well, I can see the merit in parking the machines, the trucks with trailers for machines closer to the lake so they don't have to cross the street. You know, like from the boat launch and the parking across, it's easy access from the Chestnut Street lot, but it's still the school lots are available. I know a lot of times for like the Polar Dip, people park in the school lot and walk across. No, they're not utilizing the school lots, and all those are still going to be open for everyone else to use, right?
Presumably, yep.
Okay.
I'm okay with approving this. I'm not okay with approving it if they have carte blanche to be able to close Kenwood parking lot on that day.
So let's just remove that request then. They can certainly use Kenwood, but we're not
Maybe they
going
could
to close it.
use half of it, but not the other half.
Or we could just.
Or use it,
You
but
know, they
not
could-
deprive everyone else of
Keep it
using
open to
it.
everyone.
They could use the area where boat trailers normally use, because it would be for snowmobile trailers, and then keep the other spaces open,
Right.
something like that.
My response, honestly, members of council, would be to just simply not put the barricades out there for Kenwood.
Yeah.
They can use it just like anybody else.
Okay,
I think that's fair.
Because as it was written in the report, on an as-needed basis.
okay.
And if they do need something different or more, there is another council meeting. Granted, it's just a few days beforehand, but there is another council meeting before this event in which if we had to bring something back to city council to consider, we have that opportunity.
Okay. Although, with my kid being an ice fisherman, that's one weekend he's really not out on Lake
I know,
Cadillac
well,
fishing.
there's that.
There aren't a lot of
But
fishers out there
you know,
that
these are
weekend.
Things that we need to be considerate of.
Oh,
is-
the
is
community.
local people when we have festivals in town.
Right.
Their lives shouldn't have to stop for that.
Okay.
Is that clear on this side?
So we're going to remove D? We're going to just remove,
They can use it, but they can't close
All
it.
right, we're
they
not-
can't
Yeah.
close it. They
Just take-
can't control
That's
it.
Fair.
Don't leave the barriers.
Right.
Yep.
That would be the simplest, don't leave the barriers, and then could be used for parking for our citizens as well as the visitors.
Okay. So then, I'll make a motion to approve the display of the banner from January 25th to February 8th, the closure of Linden Street between Haynes and Chestnut from 9:45 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. on February 6, 2016, and the closure of the requested city parking lots except for the Kenwood parking lot from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on February 5th and 6th for the North American Snow Fest.
I'll support that.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shippers,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Wolfile,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Mayor Filkins.
Yes, motion carries. So that takes us to the city
Yes.
manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The first item under the City Manager's Report is a request to house pet rabbits. This evening, Holly Fessler, 4-H leader who resides at 220 at Siegel Place, is before us with a request to have 10 pet rabbits kept on property. The rabbits will be kept in cages in the garage. And then I believe in warmer months, they'll be kept in hutches and pens outside within their rear yard area. We are here this evening formally asking City Council to consider this request because Section 6-28 of our city code stipulates that we do so. The staff recommendation is to approve the request, and as just a matter of reference, we did approve a similar request not too long ago, back in October of 2015. I do believe Ms. Fessler is here this evening. Should you have any questions, or if there's anything that you wish to advise, this would be a time for you to do so.
Wanted to say that obviously,
You can just go right to the podium, that'd be great. That way we got you on tape.
obviously, I'm a 4-H leader, and that's our group, is the Rabbits and KB group. And because of that prior approval, that's when I realized that there was an issue, and I'm just inside the city limits, so that I needed to get myself here as well. So I have currently 8 rabbits, but would like the flexibility of going up and down just because of the fact that I like having the variety of rabbits to show to our club members. We have several different varieties, all different types. We really enjoy our rabbits. We have a double city lot. We have plenty of room for them. We've made cages, the girls and I. and pens and all sorts of things. So it's been a great activity and a great family activity. So that's it.
Thank you.
Sounds like a worthy project to me.
I think the girls should come up
Yeah.
here and tell us about their rabbits.
Yeah.
Come on, don't be shy.
There, I'm happy.
Yep, go ahead. I don't really know what to say.
What's your favorite rabbit?
I can't really say. I have a lot of different ones. I've got my rabbit named Big Jake. He's a big Rylander. He's a big Cuttlebug. And then I have my little rabbit Nala. She's a Lionhead. And she's a pretty good rabbit too, so. I don't know what else.
I currently don't have a rabbit. It passed away during the beginning of the winter. But before I did, I remember like we doing all this work with the rabbit teaches like it taught me a lot of responsibility and it also taught my younger nephew. He would go out and feed it and things like that, and he learned how to be more gentle with it. And then I'd go over there and like it taught me like I learned how to build things like that on my own. And like putting nails and things like that in the building cages and not having to just go out and spend money and buy things like that when I can do it on my own. So it's a pretty great experience.
Do you show them at the fair?
Yeah.
Good for you.
You're going to be replacing your rabbit soon?
Yeah.
Can city council members and mayor and the city manager and any others of us come visit the rabbits if we'd like? Cool.
We'll do all the time.
People do that.
Good. Well, thank you, girls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, heck, I'll make the motion then to approve Holly Fessler's right to house up to 10 pet rabbits in the outdoor hutches and at her residence located at 200 Otsego Place.
Support.
We all say
Lots of support.
unanimously.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Spelman.
Yes.
Wolfile.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes. Motion carries. Congratulations.
You like rabbits.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. This next item is with respect to a Consumers Energy Streetlight Contract Amendment. Quite some time ago, Bruce DeWitt, the City Director of Public Works and Engineer, received a request regarding lighting. We have to work everything through consumers, and I don't know, Bruce, exactly how long it's taken, but we have finally gotten back the amended agreements from consumers that are before you this evening that makes the changes. One change is at 411 South Lake Street, which I believe is by the library. Another change adds a light at the intersections of Leeson and Commerce Street. And another change is at the end of North Simon Street. According to the city engineer, they do meet our streetlight policy. We do have a copy of the changes to the contract in your packet as well. Bruce, is there anything more that I should add?
No, that's about it. It's a long time coming. Consumers is dragging their feet on.
And these lights are the standard consumer's light at intersections?
Typical wooden pole.
They're not ornamental, is my point.
No.
Why does it take so long?
They just put it in the back burner. It's not priority by
The removal of the one down by the library, is that just because they don't feel it's necessary? There's enough light there from other sources?
Right, and it was close. Didn't really meet the last one that was there. Didn't really meet the policy. Too close to the other one. We try to follow the policy when we can, and we were removing those anyway.
Okay.
And we'd have to pay to put a new pole up there, so it makes sense now.
All right, thank you.
Motion to approve the amendment to the Consumers Energy Streetlight Contract as presented.
Support.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Wolfile.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Shippers.
Yes.
Spelman.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. This next item is a little bit wordy, so forgive me, but I am going to definitely look at the packet. This is with respect to the extension of purchasing authorization for several items in the utilities.
Oh, we're skipping.
Oh, did I skip one?
Skipping
The sidewalk
Clam Lake.
cafe.
Oh,
The sidewalk
sorry.
cafes.
That's okay.
I
I didn't see where that one
I
was
got
too
overzealous here.
long.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, that's not that lengthy.
Thank you. No. We'll rewind.
What's he gonna do to it?
Yeah, we'll rewind. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
This is with respect to downtown sidewalk cafes. The council communication in your packet references both Herman's European Cafe and the Clam Lake Beer Company, both of which have requested approval to place sidewalk cafes in front of their downtown restaurants. You'll see that there's also within your packet a site plan that shows the location and the layout for both of the outdoor cafes. It also shows within the site plan that there's adequate room for pedestrian traffic meeting the 60 inches of clearance required within the ordinance. There's two conditions that we're requesting council to include upon consideration of approval. One simply is that the Cadillac City Code of Ordinances is met that relates to sidewalk cafes in section 46-395, that they also need to provide us proof of insurance per that code stipulation. And they also need to get their permit through MDOT as well. MDOT requires permit. It is MDOT right-of-way, and so even though the city may approve these, they do need MDOT's approval as well. So
And they've both done this in the past.
They
It's
have
just
both
the
done
same
this
as
in
they've
the
done in the
past.
past. Okay. All right, then if there's no discussion, I'll make a motion to approve the request from Clam Lake Beer Company and from Herman's European Cafe for sidewalk cafes in 2016 in accordance with the two conditions, as long as those two conditions are met.
I'll support that.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Keith?
Yes.
Shippers?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Wolfile?
Yes.
Mayor Phillips?
Yes. Motion carries.
Now you can do them all.
yes, okay. Now I'm on the wordy one. Sorry that my eyes jumped and I skipped. Okay, so we're looking at extending purchasing authorization for 4 items within the utilities department. The chart below within the packet does show the 4 items that we're looking at extending. In summary, as it states, back in fall of 2013, we did enter into agreements with these various vendors after the services were solicited. And we are looking at moving with an additional 2 years of service for the 4 items, 3 of which are commodity services and 1 is a contractual service. Jeff Dietland is here who can explain, I'm sure, ad nauseum as to what all of these services do. It would be inappropriate for me to try to get into that level of minutia this evening. But the 4 companies are as follows. 1 is Biotech Ergonomics. The other one is Chimera Water Solutions. The 3rd is Elhorn Engineering Company. And the 4th is Alexander Chemical Corporation. The services that we're getting from them include biosolid injection, ferric chloride, liquid phosphate, and liquid chlorine. Funds are available in the Water and Sewer Department. And Jeff, is there something that you'd like me to mention, or Owen, is there anything you'd like me to mention with respect to the request for the extension?
Yep, I was just going to mention that all 4 of these bid packets had provisions for a 2-year extension. So we're just simply exercising that, allows it to be a little bit more efficient. And the pricing, most of them were still below what the second low bid was. So no real concerns with moving forward.
Okay.
That wasn't that lengthy.
No. I could make it longer if you like.
Thank you, no.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to extend the purchase authorization for biosolids injection from Biotech Agronomics for ferric chloride from Chimera, is that how I say it? Water Solutions for liquid phosphate from Elhorn Engineering and for liquid chlorine from Alexander Chemical Corporation through December 31st, 2017, based on the extension detail as presented.
Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Support.
I'll support that, and I congratulate you, Councilwoman, on your
Usually I
reading
really
of the whole
mess
thing.
those up.
None of the others of us volunteered to do that one.
By approving this, this certainly is efficient.
Yes.
That would be a lot of work to rebid all of those.
Yes, I'll
The
say.
only one that's questionable, I think, is the Camaro one,
Right.
but you probably wouldn't get a better price than that anyway.
Yeah, 0.006 cents per pound, based on what the other company bid 2 years ago.
Right.
We were
And it's
comfortable,
been-
yeah, that,
And it's been a couple of years,
Yep.
so their price has gone up since then. anyways.
That's what I was thinking,
Yep.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So could we have a roll call?
Councilmember Shippers,
Yes.
Spolman.
Yes.
Wolfile,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, then that takes us to the adoption of ordinances and resolutions.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The first item under adoption of ordinances and resolutions is a request to adopt a resolution that will amend our General Appropriations Act for fiscal year 2016. This is with respect to our Rotary Performing Arts Pavilion project. Owen, if you could take it away.
Sure. Yeah, it's two different funds, but it's the same item. So the first one is our Capital Projects Trust Fund. This is a fund that was established back in 1997 with proceeds from when the city sold its share in a power generating facility out in the industrial park. So we received about $511,000 in principal from that sale. And at the time, the city council took the action to designate those funds as an endowment, using the interest then to basically commit to some redevelopment projects. So over the years, that fund has earned about $236,000 and has been utilized for about $160,000 worth of projects. Most of those are $10,000, $20,000, $25,000 here and there, where this fund will contribute a portion of that. We're asking for something a little bit different this time, as we talked about how to fund the final version of the Rotary Park improvements. When it came in higher than we had anticipated, this was a fund that we had sort of identified as a potential source of funds, and that's what we're recommending here tonight then. So what we're going to recommend then, based on where the final costs have come in and the final estimates of other sources of financing, which we'll talk about in a second, we're actually recommending for the council to appropriate $165,000 out of that fund to cover the remainder of the costs of the pavilion reconstruction. Now, $66,000 of that will be what's left in earnings on the fund, and we're asking then council to designate about $99,000 of the original principal towards this project. I'm comfortable making that recommendation based on this being kind of a once in a 25, 30 year type of project that I think is a really dramatic improvement to the downtown area. So that's what that first amendment is for in the Capital Projects Trust Fund.
What does that, how does the principal, what's the principal balance then?
It's still $511,000 right now, what it originally was.
Right, but if we take that out, then.
So it'd be about $100,000 less than that. Yep, it'd still be $411,000 with interest rates on what we're allowed to invest in at this point. It's going to earn maybe $6,000 to $8,000 a year still. So every couple of years we could still make that $10,000 to $20,000 to $25,000 contribution.
So it was never put into an endowment fund somewhere else that we managed it?
We still have the funds. Yep. It's kind of a council designated endowment fund. Just meaning that council then can take action to utilize a portion of that principal. It's not like it was a private donor that said these are restricted funds where you can never spend the principal. This was a council designated endowment where then council can can also choose to allocate a portion of that to a project.
Interesting.
We can answer more questions on that in a second. Just to get through the rest of it, with the budget, we also appropriated funds for the spending portion of the actual project. And when we did that, we had originally adopted $300,000 as cost to that. And as you know, with the contract that we awarded back in October to Orshall Construction, those costs have come in higher than what was originally budgeted and kind of expected on that. And so we need to number one, appropriate some additional funds, which that's the expenditure side of the project. That 405 would get us all options and contingency spent to the max. So that would be the top end of what we would spend on that project. And then the revenue portion of that amendment is just simply moving some things around based on where we actually are in terms of funding. So I'll go through, if you look at that amendment detail in your packet, the transfer in of a 165 is from the Capital Projects Trust Fund that we talked about. Local funds, that will be money that we're trying to raise from or in conjunction with what we're working on with the crowdfunding campaign. So that would be, there will be 50,000 in the middle column. That would be what the final budget looks like. 50,000 in local funds that we'll need to raise. With that, we would get a $50,000 match from the MEDC. So that's the grant funds. And then the contribution from private sources just coincidentally matches what the transfer in is, but that's the Rotary Club. The Rotary Club had about $77,000 in remaining funds from a prior commitment to the project. And just recently, and I think Marcus had notified y'all, but the Rotary Club committed an additional up to $90,000 of that. So what that would do for the funds from the Rotary would be, they would have covered then 50% of the total renovation of the Rotary Pavilion area. So that would include the bathrooms and the pavilion, and the grounds are going to come in, right around $560, $570, somewhere in there. And the Rotary would have given 50% of those funds. So just an incredible partnership, I think, with the Rotary. So this gets us with funds appropriated both on the financing side and the construction side for what we'll need to finalize the project.
Gives me an opportunity to put a plug in for the Rotary auction in April.
For sure.
That is the Rotary's largest fundraising event of the year. And that's where the majority of these dollars, or probably all of these dollars, come from, is that. So any support from the community for the Rotary auction would be really appreciated, whether it's selling tickets or procuring items, donating items for the auction, and certainly attending and bidding on items.
Buying the raffle ticket as well.
Buying the raffle ticket for the sports car that's going to be raffled off.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks pretty cool.
And Marcus and I will have tickets for all of that.
And we have drawings out in the foyer here, and we're happy to bring those around if groups would like to see them. I'm sure they'll probably have them at the event, the auction, and so we have those as well.
So, Owen, can you tell us, give us some idea where the increase from what was quoted to what is actually going to cost, where the differences were?
I think it's just based on where when we made the initial estimates at the budgeting process a year ago right now, we were just kind of guessing, really. We didn't have the design done, the engineering done, the cost estimates done, the bid done. So basically everything now has just become more concrete, and this is what it is.
Okay.
Yep. And I think it's achieving what everybody wanted from all the different parts of the project. So it really is. This is all of the electronics. Almost.
We still want a boardwalk on the other side of the pavilion.
Yes.
We do.
And we have some ideas for that as well. So that I think that'll happen.
Okay.
All right, I guess hearing no further discussion, then I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution amending the General Appropriations Act for fiscal year 2016 as presented.
Support.
So we're going to hear more about all of this in a couple of meetings.
Yep.
The crowdfunding piece. So I don't think we've really talked about that yet.
We haven't talked about it formally. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but once that campaign is actually out, you'll certainly be hearing about it. It'll be very public.
We did talk about the fact that we need to make this very visible to people because people out in the community have a lot of questions, so, and concerns about what's going away that isn't really going away. So I think the more that we can, take the time to present those things here, then people can actually come to the meetings and ask their questions and see it, will be good.
It's going to all be wrapped up in the big State of the City update.
Yeah, great. Okay.
The 30-page.
Yes.
Oh boy, we're going to need to start that meeting earlier. Okay. Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Spolman,
Yes.
Wolfile,
Yes.
Keith,
Yes.
Shippers,
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Mayor and members of the City Council, this next item is a resolution in opposition to Public Act 269. This is something that of recent has been sort of viral, I guess, if you will, going around the state with respect to legislation that essentially puts a gag order on municipalities and school districts and other agencies that have the ability of putting a referendum question on a ballot. What it does is it essentially eliminates the ability to communicate to your constituencies within a 2-month window prior to such a question being asked during an election, which can greatly harm the ability for public information about whatever the ballot question might be about from getting out there. There previously already was language on the books that prohibited the use of public monies being spent to advocate a certain position for any kind of ballot language. In the past, municipalities certainly could put together public information and education talking about the importance of whatever the issue might be from different sides or different angles, but couldn't specifically just pick a side and run with it, but could at least get the information out, the public education out. Whereas this language now completely, essentially restricts that speech altogether. You could get information out more than a couple of months before the election, but I think in reality most folks may not necessarily engage until closer to an election date, especially when it comes to some of the ballot type questions that might be out there. And it completely eliminates the ability from the municipality to talk about it. It doesn't eliminate the ability for other folks to talk about it that might be for or against it, but it eliminates the ability for the municipality to be talked about it. So there's been some recent developments. I believe a bill was dropped yesterday that included some language. I've not seen it, but my understanding is that a bill was dropped yesterday that included some language to amend what was already put into law. I think the position that most municipalities are taking is simply, and the one that I'm also recommending is simply that it needs to be repealed. There is a copy of the resolution in the packet. If you guys want me to read it, I'd be happy to out loud. Otherwise, I'd encourage council to approve it, and upon its approval, an executed copy will be provided to our state senator and representative accordingly.
I absolutely approve this resolution. This is the most ridiculous law that they passed.
Well, one of them.
In my opinion, and Governor Snyder signing it, even though he knew it was a piece of crap, he signed it anyway because there's deep money attached to it. You know, he even said it's a bad law and I think you guys need to fix it.
And with the signing of it, I'm sorry.
I know you're passionate about it too. But I don't think I've ever been so vocal about a piece of legislation as I have about this.
Well, it's a freedom of speech issue.
It is. It's a lot of things.
I mean, it's
It's
Yeah.
really ridiculous. We've always known as a public body that we can't advocate. We can't tell people how to vote. We can't ask them to vote, but we can educate. And when they start to take away our ability to be able to educate, then, they've gone too far.
And the fact that they did it only at the local level.
Yeah, right.
Correct.
And then 60 days before the vote, I mean, that's just really tying your hands and allowing other people with money, to be able to say whatever they want. And to turn the screws or to get bad information out there, and you have no opportunity to say anything to refute it.
And you're going to get this down to Lansing, but can this be provided to the local media?
Sure.
Yeah, copy that. That would be good.
Are there other municipalities throughout the state doing the same thing as my guess?
Many, yep.
It doesn't affect just municipalities. The law really talks about, public bodies.
Schools.
Yeah, schools is affected as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, my school has a bond issue that's going to be coming up, and to be able to even say that there's an election, please come vote,
Right.
without saying, to put it in our school newsletter, which we always have.
Yeah.
There's an election, please vote. Not how to vote, but please vote, and we won't be able to let people know that.
Last year, I wouldn't have been able to educate anybody about the MSU extension millage had this been in place.
Just food for thought, I don't have a calculator in front of me at the moment, but this is in effect right now for the upcoming March election. So I'm not certain if we're within the 60 days or not.
Yeah, we
So
are.
for those agencies, this would already impact them for that. And there's up to a $20,000 fine by the state should somebody violate it. And
Which would include even mentioning it using if you're broadcast or on television. So even mentioning that you have an issue
if it's
up
paid
for
if
election.
it's paid for by the
Tax-
agency.
Yeah, so if we would not be allowed to say a word. Yeah. So did you make the motion to adopt this resolution?
No, I was going to give you an opportunity.
I would like to
talk.
do that. Okay, go ahead. We were all still talking. Anybody wants to. Did you want to?
No.
Okay. Well, I would like to make a motion to adopt the resolution opposing Public Act 269 as presented.
And I'll support it.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Wolfile?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Shippers?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Coleman?
Yes.
For
Chair
sure.
Filkins?
Yes. Motion carries.
Maybe we could make some resolutions about some other things going on in Lansing, but that's for another
That's
day.
another story. Okay, the last thing, the next thing on our agenda is we have the minutes of boards and commissions. This evening, we have the minutes of the Dog Park Advisory Committee meeting that was held on November 18th, 2015. At this time, we'll go ahead and open the floor for our second public comment. Again, if you do come forward, if you would tell us your name and then also write it and your address for Sandy, it would be very much appreciated.
So I'm taking it that I can say what I want about this on TV. After all of the people have spoken, the government speaks right back and says, oh, sorry, I don't care what the people want. This is how it's going to be, and we'll throw a little money issue in so we can't do anything about it. I use the MSU site for a lot of really good information during one of the proposals, actually more than one. It's a source. It's a really solid source. And you're telling me I cannot do that? After 60 days, it won't be there to see?
I'm saying that we're getting a reading on it right now from our attorneys, but if we fall under the category of public body, then we're not allowed to do any education during that period of time. On local issues, we would be able to probably on statewide issues.
Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on in this world, but state of Michigan is not looking very good, and it's my state.
Point 'em straight.
Okay, seeing no one else, we'll close public comment. And then we would need the motion to adjourn to closed session.
I think we need good of the order first.
Oh, we do need to back up. I just crossed it off and didn't even do it.
See, it's easy to do.
So sorry. Yeah.
That's our modus operandi.
Okay, so before we go into closed session, we will do good of the order. And this evening, we'll start with Councilmember Keith.
Well, you know, a lot of things happen to me. People talk to me all the time when I'm walking my dogs. And it happened again. One of my constituents stopped me and said, "Hey, I know you're on the city council now, and I've got a real concern that has to do with narcotics." And he's a relatively new resident, probably within the last 2 years. And his comment was, he felt like there's been a tremendous amount of publicity in the news, in the paper, on 9 and 10 News, etc., about narcotics problems. And he actually emphasized methamphetamines. Fellow knows a little bit about what he's talking about. And I told him I would mention this to us. And I know we've done information out to the public about these things in the past, but maybe it wouldn't hurt to do something again. Maybe the police department could put some information in the newspaper and in the television about the current situation and what's being done about it. I know we've done it in the past, but maybe we could do something again. Because there may be a lot more people who really think that things are wild and crazy out there. And I think we all recognize there is a problem. All of us do. But we also know that our police and the state police and other law enforcement is going after this stuff. So maybe that could be something you would consider doing, Chief.
Okay, all
Yep.
set?
Yep.
All right. Member Shippers.
Okay, well, let's see, Mr. McCurdy is here, the Cadillac Community Partnership, unfortunately, was moved to tonight and canceled for tonight for illness and stuff, but it's gonna start meeting the second Tuesday of each month at Lincoln School from 7 to 8 p.m. So that's been established, second Tuesday of the month. Also, tomorrow, being the third Wednesday of the month, the Youth Council will meet in these chambers at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So come on down to see our wonderful young people and their great ideas. Also, I'd like to remind people that there's no snowmobile driving within the city limits. As soon as it started snowing, I live right over by Diggins Hill, and as soon as the snow started falling, up the alley, right towards the hill. And I call every time, just so you know, because there are kids sledding on that hill. And you're going up there with your snowmobile, you see kids careening down there, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Please, snowmobiles tear up our streets. We keep the streets plowed to make them passable for automobiles and for pedestrians as best we can. And a snowmobile will tear up that pavement something fierce. So please, do not drive your snowmobile from wherever you are up to the edge of town. Take it there and then go from there, please. Thank you.
Councilmember Wolfile.
Okay, well, I'd just like to take a moment tonight to thank all the folks that are organizing the upcoming NASF. I had an opportunity to work with those boards and committees through my role in the police department for many years, and those folks work really hard to put on all these events. They start their planning way back in the summertime, and they meet regularly, and it's hard to imagine how many hours they put into planning for this event. So I want to thank them for planning this year's upcoming NASF, and I hope the weather cooperates with them. We've had lots of times in the past where we had a big thaw right before the event and water on the lake, and they've always managed to still make their events happen. So I hope the weather cooperates. We have a lot of good ice and snow, and I encourage everyone to come out and enjoy all the activities. There's a lot of great things going on. So thanks to the NASF folks.
Councilmember Spelman.
Last week, January 11th, the Lake Mitchell Improvement Board met, and I represent the city on that. The Lake Mitchell Improvement Board is really another government organization. There's a public act that allows an improvement board to be formed that assesses property owners for work that needs to be done on a lake. And an improvement board is necessary when you have different municipalities within the area. So in the city of Cadillac, or Lake Cadillac, that's just city of Cadillac property around the lake. Lake Mitchell has city of Cadillac. It also has Selma Township as well as Clam Lake Township, or Cherry Grove Township. So there's a representative from each one of those local units of government, and there's also a county commissioner on that board, and I believe 2 riparians or property owners on the lake. That's what it's comprised of. We are charged, with taking care of the lake and the non-native invasives that the plants that grow in the lake. And in order to do that, we have to have an assessment. So on February 27th is our next meeting at 10 o'clock, and we'll be doing a public hearing for practicability at that time. We're looking at changing our assessment time from 3 years to 4 years, and we're asking to stay with the same assessment amount, which is an up to amount that we'll be able to assess property owners, and that is $300 for what we call Tier 1 properties, and those are front lot, basically, is a good definition for that, people who have a home that are right on the lake. So we can assess up to $300 per year for Tier 1. And then there's Tier 2, which is a back lot, and that's half that. And then there's also a commercial price, which is double that. So because it's an up to amount annually, we decide what we will need when we put our budget together and still have a little bit of money in the bank in case of extenuating circumstances. It's a really bad year for Eurasian water milfoil, or the hybrid of that is what we've really been battling lately. But this year, because we already have $300 and some thousand in the bank, we are suggesting that we have an assessment of $225,000. So we're not going to assess the full amount. Wanted you all to be aware of that. Secondly, there will be a supplemental resolution coming to this board, to City Council. I believe Mike Solomon, who is the Drain Commissioner, he's the other board member, sorry, and the chair of that committee, has already spoken with Marcus, and he'll be bringing a resolution at the next meeting. I don't think I'll be here, and I know we signed one this past year, if you two might remember that. Which just talks about the city's involvement in the Lake Mitchell Improvement Board. Their attorney found kind of a omission from that resolution in terms of just some verbiage to be able to account for all of the work that we do. So we're going to try to clean that up with a resolution. And then the other important piece of business that we conducted at that meeting is we approved having our attorney put together a FOIA policy for us. We hadn't had a Freedom of Information Act policy before. And, even little boards like that start getting to the point where we have to make sure that we are following the law right, and we are getting Freedom of Information Act requests. So we wanted to make sure we were doing it appropriately.
So minutes from those meetings, do you present those to the city like these other committees do?
No, I don't. They could be put in there. They are always, the Lake Mitchell Improvement Board has a website. You can Google it, Lake Mitchell Improvement Board. My understanding is that it's the best Lake Improvement Board website
in the state of Michigan. It's got a lot of really good information on it. And we always have our minutes posted there, as well as our plan, because every year we have to approve a treatment plan. You know, we do surveys of the lake all the time and monitor weed growth and how well our treatments are working. And in addition to that, there's just a lot of really good information on there for property owners and how to manage their lake fronts. A lot of information about fishing and all sorts of things having to do with the lake. I encourage anybody to go to that.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Marcus.
No comments this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Have we got another application for youth council, correct?
Right, and we have not set up a time for that.
Okay.
Let's
We
do
need
that.
to get that done
Yes.
so that
Yes.
she can get started.
Yeah.
And then a request came out through Marcus, the North American Snowmobile Festival Chili Cook-Off needs your help. So some of us are already signed up, but they need chili servers. And it's a fun job, so.
It is a fun job.
I did it.
Yeah, okay, good. So, and then the other thing, the only other thing I wanted to say this evening was the whole volunteer thing. Tonight was, when we looked at the appointments of these 5 people, of the 5 people, 4 of them have over 10 years of service. Between the 5 of them, they have 66 years of volunteer service to this community and to the city. And that's huge. And so again, we have some open seats. If anyone is willing and would like to become involved and learn more about the city, we'd love to have you. So with that, we can move towards closed session.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. At this time, it would be appropriate to consider a motion to adjourn into closed session to discuss written confidential legal opinions and to discuss pending litigation with the city attorney in the case of Clam Lake and Herring Township v. City of Cadillac et al., to discuss the case of Arvco Container Corporation v. City of Cadillac, and to discuss the case of Ferris v. City of Cadillac et al., case number 1:15-CV-00680-RJJ, the discussion of which in public would have a detrimental effect on the city's trial or settlement strategy in each case.
I'll make that motion. Without reading it.
I'll support that.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Keith?
Yes.
Trippers?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Wolfile?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes, motion carries.
Make a motion to return to open session.
I'll support the motion.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shippers?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Wolfile?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor and members of City Council. At this time, it would be appropriate to consider a motion to proceed as discussed with the city attorney in closed session with respect to his confidential legal opinions and with respect to the case of Clam Lake and Herring Township v. City of Cadillac et al., the case of Arvco Container Corporation v. City of Cadillac, and the case of Ferris v. City of Cadillac et al.
I'll make the motion to do all that.
Support.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
It works for me.
Councilmember Shippers?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Wolfile?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes, motion carries. And with that, we'll adjourn the meeting.
How about that?